Hey, what's going on, everybody? Glad you're here. I know you're excited about Jarrid Williams. I want to talk about him. I just figured I'd jump on this live stream. We don't do this. I don't do this very often. Obviously, you see my voice. This is Chris. I just want to shout out to everybody who showed all their support for all the live streams that we've done with recruiting, with the dynasty. You guys have all been watching all of those. It's been great. So let's get right into it. Jarrid Williams finally makes his announcement. I know it's a decision that you guys have been waiting for a long time. Makes that transfer from Houston, graduate transfer, rejoins De'Aaron King, obviously. So one of the things I think what people might want to be curious about is where does he fit in? Obviously, the way I look at it, Miami would not have brought him in if they did not see him starting on that top unit. Now, Miami obviously brings back a ton of guys. They bring back all five of their starters as it stands. They bring back some young guys that started last year, Ja'Kai Clark, Zion Nelson. So you bring in a graduate transfer. Real quick, shout out to Anthony for stopping by. You're always on these streams. Huge shout out to you, 904. Glad you're here. And Smokey is big. And no doubt this is huge. So where does Jarrid fit in? He played right tackle a lot at Houston. I think if he's coming in, I think you've got to look at him as a starting left tackle. And no doubt it's huge. And I think the reason why you say that is because of his experience. He's played. He knows what to expect at a big-time level. And you already saw in the spring that Garen Justice, the new offensive line coach, is okay with making that move with Zion, maybe shifting him off left tackle. You know, you saw some other guys get some reps there. And again, just shout out to everybody that's here. I know you guys are excited. And I know it's exciting. And if you guys seen real quick, I put up a quick little practice simulation, the sneak peek. Shout out to everybody that's been watching those sneak peeks. I got a new one coming tomorrow. I'll tease it a little bit later. I'll tell you which team we're going with. And I've got something even bigger with those sneak peeks, even something even I haven't even done yet. So bigger things are coming. Leslie, Pamela, glad you're here. DJ ATM for sure. And I think the thing is with putting him at left tackle, and I think that's what he wants. You know, like this is a guy that's played. Again, he started the last 17 games, 4 games last year, then redshirted like De'Aaron. He started all 13 games the year before. And I don't think he's coming to Miami to just be a guy or even a guy that compete. I think he wants to know that he's going to be in a top spot. And also, I think he's good enough to be in one of those lead spots. I think left tackle would be a great spot for him. I think that leadership would be great. His abilities, just watching him on film a little bit, it does seem like he can handle left tackle. And I think, but either way, I think if he's at right tackle, that's fine too. But obviously Miami has some options. And we've not said that a lot lately. Wayne, glad you're here. Leslie, again, glad you're here. Anthony, what happened with the tackle that transferred to Florida? Yeah, if you're talking about Isaiah Walker, I think that's what you're talking about. We could talk about him too. Obviously, he would have to sit out a year the way it stands. Unless, Wayne, you wrong for that. You wrong for that. We won't even get into that. But with Isaiah, assuming he's not going to get that red shirt, or assuming he's not going to get that waiver to play immediately, you just stash him away. I like him a lot. I saw him play twice last year. I was impressed by him. I was impressed by his leadership and things like that. We'll get to Isaiah Walker. But it certainly becomes very competitive with the offensive line. Again, you bring in Garen Justice, offensive line coach. You saw him make moves. John Campbell was a guy he liked. Again, only one week of practice, 4 practices. Couldn't see a lot. But there were a couple things that we saw in those 4 practices. Again, media viewing period, we only get maybe 20 minutes, 30 minutes, something like that for most of those practices. One of the 4, we got to see the entire practice. And then the last practice, we had no idea it was going to be the last practice, obviously. But we got to, usually we're on one end of the field and we just see essentially what unit is right in front of us. Whether it's quarterbacks, DBs, receivers, we see them a lot. O-line, D-line, not too much. But on that last day, media relations, shout out to Cameron for letting us do it and the coaching staff for agreeing to it. But we got to go all the way down to the other end of the field, and essentially we focused on offensive line and defensive line. And what I noticed with offensive line, and I was there doing videos, you guys can see all the videos. Essentially, I felt like I did a video of every single offensive lineman from the spring. Whatever video I had, I'd put it up there. You can check it out on the channel. Obviously, hit subscribe, like, the whole thing. That's a big help. Zachary, glad you're here. I know you want that shout out. Glad you're here. Alex, welcome. And yeah, we'll talk about Jake Garcia and Rhett Lashley for sure. But Jarrid Williams, I think, to be honest, my instant reaction was, because it was taking as long as it was, I was assuming he wasn't going to transfer. Obviously, early on, it definitely seemed that way. I received some word that it definitely felt like it was going to be Miami. This was weeks ago. And the longer it went, it made me think, well, what's this guy waiting on? Why is it taking so long? It seems like a good fit for him. The connection with De'Eric, I could not get over. It just seemed like a good fit for him. It's a chance for him to improve his draft status. But the longer it waited, it made me wonder if it just wasn't going to be a good fit for him. Maybe he was going to go to Baylor. Maybe one of the other schools was going to pop up. But it is big news. It is huge news. You guys said it here. It is big because offensive line, you guys saw what happened last season. And just because guys are coming back doesn't mean they're automatically going to be a lot better. They needed to be markedly better. You bring in the new offensive line coach. Now you got Isaiah Walker. That's big time. Even if he can't play this year. Big time for the future. You're looking at him being a tackle. They've struggled to get tackles here. Quality tackles. And the fact that you get Jarrid in the mix, now it becomes what's going to happen. You don't know exactly. I think one guy that stands out real quick, just off the top of my head, Navon Donaldson. Is he going to be healthy? He was not healthy in the spring. He got hurt last year, injured his knee. And you just kind of wonder exactly how well he's going to recover or when he's going to recover. And yes, Jeff, got the offensive lineman from Houston, Jarrid Williams. That's who we're talking about. It is big news. It is huge news because, and again, this isn't a guy that's going to score the touchdowns. Obviously, you guys know that, but it is such an important piece. And if you guys have heard me on the live streams or on the dynasties and all the videos that I feel like I've been doing lately, simulations, sneak peeks, the whole thing. We get to talking about the team and what kind of season this is going to be, assuming it happens. And I think, a lot of times everyone looks at the schedule, regardless of what happened last year. Everybody looks at the schedule and says, this is a 10-win team, 10-11. I don't see losses. It happens every year. And one of the things, and just real quick, I noticed the chat's not working, but I see what you guys are posting. I'll get that fixed. We're going live stream tomorrow. College baseball game. Miami, Clemson, tune in at noon. I'll get the chat fixed. And I don't want to mess with it too much here. Again, I just wanted to pop on real quick, talk about Jarrid just for a little bit, just because I knew it was something that you guys were talking about and we're excited about. I know exactly what's wrong with the chat. But anyways, I'll get to that. That big block box off to the right. I'll get to that. Jeff, you're not late. We're talking about Jarrid Williams. We're talking about if Navon Donaldson's going to come back healthy. And if he does, he's got a spot. I like where he's at. As a player, he's got to improve, but as a senior, I like with him in there. Then what do you do at center? Ja'Kai Clark moved there, competing with Corey Gaynor. You assume it's going to be Gaynor, but again, the addition of Williams changes things. Zion Nelson, DJ Scaife, all these spots, I think those will be the guys. I think if you're looking for an odd man out, it's the guys I just mentioned. I think it'll be I think it'll be the guys that start. Williams, Gaynor, no order. Williams, Gaynor, Donaldson, Scaife, and Zion. I think John Campbell's the guy that's got to prove himself. I think Kyleon Herbert, another guy. He's looking to make a move. These guys that have been around in the program on the offensive line, it's time to start getting in there and really competing. And Herbert's one of those guys, dealt with injuries. But if you're looking for guys, Campbell, I think Campbell's the one that would be most likely to step right in and play on that top unit if Donaldson's not ready to go. And yeah, I think we'll get to that 904. The reason why I'm all over the place a little bit about because I want to talk about this offensive line. But the reason why everyone, you look at 10-win season, 11-win season each year. And I'm very hesitant every year. I know you guys probably criticize me for not being more positive sometimes on the team when I'm covering them. I get that. I understand it. What I will say is this year, I do believe this is a 10-win season team. A 10-win season team. I believe it because De'Aaron King is elite. I believe it because the defensive ends are elite. And I've said this before, if you're starting your team, those two positions are extremely key. The reason why Jarrid Williams is a huge addition, and again, it's because it's one more piece on upgrading such a key component of a team. Offensive line. I know you guys like offensive linemen. It allows De'Aaron to do his thing. It frees up more space with the running game. It allows the receivers to get open. It's one more piece to this thing that they're trying to do. And I know last year was bad. We all saw it. I can't believe there was a discussion on our site, on the chats, on the message boards on InsideTheU.com. Simon, I want to answer that real quick. But there was a discussion that somebody was watching all the games from last year. And shout out to you. I forgot your screen name. I apologize right here. I wasn't planning on bringing it up. But anybody that watches last year, I know it was disappointing. It's disappointing to think about. This feels different, and we felt it in the spring. And again, De'Aaron brings so much of that difference. Yeah, Anthony, I'm working on it. I'm working on the Echo. Simon, FSU game stream. It's coming. I want to do it right. I haven't decided. I've been doing this sneak peek with the quarters. FSU feels like, okay, here's the thing. The reason why these are being short in the quarters and stuff is because these matchups most of these games aren't scheduled for this year. So I'm just kind of showing you a quick sneak peek, a quarter here and there, maybe a half. The big ones like the FSU, the plan is during the season, definitely do something big, full game, the whole thing. And yes, you hashtag NCAA 14. FSU game is Tuesday. It's a huge game. I need everybody tuning into that. I cannot believe how fast the season's going along with the dynasty. And again, I'm popping on here because it's a thing. It's not just to talk about Jarrid Williams. I definitely want to thank everybody. I say this a lot, but I truly mean it. I thank you so much for all of your support over the last few months with all of these new things, with the videos and all the articles we're pumping out on InsideTheU.com. I definitely appreciate it. It means a lot to me. We're working hard. It's not an easy time for anybody. We are all working hard to get through it. And I'm trying to give you guys as much information and entertainment as possible. And hopefully everyone stays positive, stays safe, the whole thing. I will work on different things with the Echo. I'll work on this chat thing. Again, we're just getting started. I'm excited about the future with everything with Inside the U. And if you're talking about, Simon, I'll answer a question with Williams. I think Williams, to me, would be the left tackle. I think if you're looking at it right now, you put Zion at right tackle. That's the way I would go with it. I think it eases some of the pressure off of Zion. Maybe he's the left tackle in 2021. Again, maybe he has one of those seasons that's good, and then you put him back to left. Yeah, and again, that's assuming Isaiah Walker's not able to play this season because he's transferring. I know it feels a little different because he didn't play a season, but it still counts, and he still has to it still goes through the transfer process because he was at Florida. So assuming he's not able to play, that's what I would do. I would start Jarrid Williams at left tackle. I would start Zion Nelson at right tackle. But again, if you feel like DJ Scaife is a better right tackle, you make that move. I don't think there's anybody on the O-line that automatically has their spot. Last year was really hard to watch with the O-line most of the year. King is right-handed. I know that's tough, but yes, De'Aaron King is right-handed. I know what you're saying, but yeah, De'Aaron is right-handed. Got to check all the videos. Man, this guy is electric. I feel like it almost feels like people don't quite know how good this guy is yet. And I understand why you guys might be a little bit hesitant because of last year with all the hype, particularly with Tate, and it just didn't work out. And I think people might be a little hesitant and not quite understand, or maybe it's the level of competition. I'm not quite sure. Or maybe because we just didn't see it. Maybe you guys just didn't get to see enough in the spring. 4 practices, 2 of them weren't in full pads, and they were any pads, and they were just getting into a little bit of their pad, so it was just getting started. I think a spring game, I think he would have tore it up. I think that would have changed things. There was a little buzz with the media. We got that full practice, and he played well in that practice. And I felt like you were going to get that. I don't know if avalanche, but definitely momentum with the excitement with De'Aaron. But it's legit. And one thing I've been doing lately, I've been taking some articles from a podcast he was on. I recommend it though. Listen to the podcast Inside the Loop. It's a Houston-based podcast. De'Aaron talks about just everything. Growing up, playing at Manville, being doubted, playing at Houston, and then why he transferred to Miami. So I definitely think people should be very excited about De'Aaron. He is the real deal. I know it's a step up in competition, but this guy has proven multiple times in his career, ever since he was young, one of those guys. Just one of those guys that has it. And every time he's doubted, he moves up in competition. Every time he does it, he does well. There's no reason to think this won't be the same. And yes, and Joey, glad you're here. Just seeing here. Dr. Jacob, glad you're here. This is exciting stuff. Again, I just want to jump on real quick. I'm not going to go too long with this, but I'm excited about doing more live streams in the future. And hopefully you guys like this. Again, I'm still work in progress. Again, I'll get everything figured out with all this stuff. I was a little surprised the chat wasn't working, but it'll be ready to go again. Tomorrow at noon, we'll go live stream. I'm going to play the Clemson-Miami game, Game 3 of the road to the College World Series. And it's exciting because I want to wrap that up this month. Baseball season, let's get this thing going. MLB draft on Thursday and Friday this week. I think it's Thursday, Friday, Wednesday, Thursday. Anyways, it's 2 days this week. So that's exciting stuff. Again, we'll do the live stream there. Again, this is exciting with Jarrid Williams. And I think also too, not just with, and I hate to throw Tate's name out there, but he's a quarterback in high profile last year. But he wasn't the only transfer that Miami got last year that didn't work out quite as much as the hype that it got in the offseason. Anthony dropped the comment again. I apologize, I missed it. But there were other guys that didn't quite work out. I saw the comment about Tommy Kennedy. Again, offensive lineman that didn't work out. I do not expect Jarrid Williams to be Tommy Kennedy. I think it's a huge difference. Again, I expect him to make an impact. And I know it's just a little something, but again, check out the YouTube channel. I did like a quick little video of Jarrid in practice just to see his 62 in the Miami uniform. Some of you guys like that kind of stuff. I think it's kind of cool. Just put it up quick. And that's good. The Duval Canes, I like that. And that's the thing I've noticed. Just there's Miami fans all over not all over the state, not just all over the state, all over the country. And I'm always impressed by looking at the analytics, and this has been going on for years and starting Inside the U, the amount of people that check out Inside the U, that love the Hurricanes, that live outside the United States. And if you're anybody on here, I know the time change is hard for most people, but you can watch the replay. Shout out to you wherever you're at. Hopefully you're being safe as well. Mohipa, glad you're here. And Norman, glad you're here. And you're absolutely right. It's one of those things where you say it where it just eases the pressure off of Zion or anybody else when you add a guy like this. So it's big news. Again, I'm going to wrap this up. I just want to do something real quick. If you guys like this, if you want more of this, be sure to hit the like button so I know it's good. Again, And I'm gonna work on it. We'll work on it. We'll keep pumping out stuff. Keep checking out more information at InsideTheU.com. All your coverage of the Hurricanes, recruiting, the whole thing. Get all your questions answered. Anthony, I apologize for not getting to you there, but drop a question on the message board over there. I'll get to it. Or drop a comment in here. I'll get to it. But thanks again for jumping on. It means a lot to me. All the support is great. We'll keep doing this. And again, Jarrid Williams to Miami, big time news for the Hurricanes. It's such an important get. It's another piece of the puzzle, and they've been doing a great job. Thanks again, and you guys have a good night.